On March 1st, 2024, the chief editor of Russia's state-sponsored news network, RT, posted on Telegram a 38-minute voice recording of German military personnel on an online call, one of them allegedly Germany's Air Force chief, discussing the war in Ukraine. Now, even though the three takeaways I will give you in a moment will focus on the hilarious aspects of the call, the revelations themselves are damning. The Germans were caught discussing how British military personnel already in Ukraine have been helping the Ukrainians use British-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles when targeting the Russians. From the conversation, there is a hint that the Ukrainians may have used the Storm Shadow to target the Kerch Strait Bridge that connects the Russian mainland to occupied Crimea. Related to that, the German military staff on the call are discussing what they could or should or would be allowed to do by their civilian leaders, for example, in giving German-made Taurus missiles to Ukraine. While NATO countries are not making any bones about their out-and-out support for Ukraine, officially, they have refused to put boots on the ground. So because of these leaks, a lot of Western governments will have some splaining to do to their constituents. And that was probably the reason why the Russians leaked these things in the first place. Now, part of me is sorry for these German officers. They're going to get so much crap from their friends for this stupidity, these stupid mistakes, and they'll probably get sacked. Not that that will get anyone off the hook. When the dust settles, there's going to be hell to pay, not only within the German government, within the German military, but NATO in general, especially between the British and the Germans. As for me, as an historian, political analyst, and commentator, I must do my duty and give you the three most hilarious takeaways from that leaked conversation. Takeaway number one, the Russian reaction. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was in the Turkish city of Antalya on March 1st when the tapes were leaked, and he pretty much acted like he was surprised, like he had nothing to do with it, like he had no knowledge of it. The Russian embassy in Berlin was even funnier. Its statement read, quote, demanded an explanation from the German government, like they didn't know. Lols. Takeaway number two, how the Germans got caught. Apparently, one of the German personnel on that call was in Singapore and thought that it would be cheap if he were to use his hotel's unencrypted Wi-Fi network. And clearly, he didn't use a VPN either, because then the Russians were able to eavesdrop on the conversation. Man, whenever I'm doing something, anything remotely important and sensitive, could be buying something with my credit card or discussing a sensitive student case over Zoom or, calling business partners for my consultancy work, I either turn on my VPN or go on my service provider's internet data. Usually I do both. Good to know that I, a mere army sergeant 20 years ago, am taking ComSec more seriously than high-ranking German officers. Hilarious takeaway number three, accents. So as I mentioned, the German officers on the leaked call are discussing the modalities of how they could send German personnel to Ukraine if it ever came to that. Of course, in these sorts of operations, secrecy is important. I'm sorry, I'm really trying hard to keep it together, folks. Anywho, in the recording, Germans are wondering if they could make sure that their personnel in Ukraine could be concealed from spying eyes. And one of the ways that a call participant suggests in how they can do that is if their guys use American accents, because, guess that would have gone something like, a World War II movie. There are a couple of movies that play with that. A German-American guy who ends up fighting on the side of the Wehrmacht, or British, someone with a British accent, pretending that they're American or British so that they can infiltrate enemy ranks. In Ukraine, that could have looked something like this. Nine, not that target, I meant this target. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Serhiy, Ihor. I don't think you guys should do it this way. Maybe do it some other way. Here's how we should approach this problem. Or like that commercial of that English language school in Germany.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
All right, I'll stop. There's nothing to gloat over. This could happen to anyone. Well, not really. It only happened to Russian generals at the beginning of the war in Ukraine. All right, so what do you folks think? How will this recent scandal affect Western support for Ukraine? Will European countries and the United States and Canada finally start taking Russia more seriously? What's your thoughts in the comments below? For more of my videos on history, geopolitics, and international affairs that combine the light and the serious, the bitter and the sweet, with lots of pop culture references, click the like, subscribe, and notification buttons so you don't miss out on the fun. Thank you very much.